This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from Monday, April 13th, 2015. Got my dates all mixed up. Hillary Rodham Clinton for president. So Billy goes into his usual litany of things that he says against her, basically to paint her as a liberal, and let's go over a few of them right now. Basically, she's going to follow in the same steps as the Obummer administration, so obviously she can't get too far away from that, so obviously everyone who's watching Billy has to be 100% against her. He goes on to point out that as of right now, or supposedly as of right now, that the average individual in the United States is making about $1,700 less today than they did in, let's say, when Obama first came into office, or right around that particular point in time. And of course, we had a great recession. And the rich weren't really affected by it, but the poor certainly as heck were affected by it, and they have not recovered. And I would like to point out just a few things, is that our friends on the Republican side have decided that they did not want to do anything to help the recovery. They grudgingly got through a stimulus which certainly was not nearly as big enough as it should have been. And we have had steady growth for the past 50-some, I don't know, how long's it been? A number of years. Up until a couple months, until last month, I think we had over 200,000 a month for the previous 5 months before that. So there are jobs coming back into the market. They're not paying quite as much. We need to have more jobs. But remember, the Republicans have done everything since Obama came into his office in 2009 to try and get rid of anything that would actually really help America. So it was not only the stimulus. It was equal pay for equal work. It was the Lilly Ledbetter was passed, raising the minimum wage, any type of infrastructure development, any type of additional taxes, any type of budget increase that would require additional taxes. They were involved in the sequester, and you can blame Obama, you can blame the Congress. Obama said, let's do this, because he didn't think that they'd want to actually take down the defense spending, but they did, because their premise is never to tax anyone anything, and to get rid of as much taxes and to make government not work well, and then to blame the Democrats for the whole thing. But so he wants to paint, Billy wants to paint Hillary with Obama. And of course, he indicates that she's got a lot of explaining to do because she doesn't have very much of a record. I'd like to point out that the record of of the ones who are running right now, I believe Cruz and Rubio, they're not very good. Rand Paul, I mean, the two of them have been in their 6 years. Rubio was in the state legislature. Paul was an ophthalmologist. Cruz has only been in there 10 years, so they don't have much of a record either. They have a vision: reduce taxes and stick it to the poor, and cut Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. Billy goes on to talk about has to bring in, obviously, Hillary's poor record, according to him, overseas as Secretary of State. And there was, what was the other thing that was involved in that? Oh, that was the famed Benghazi series that came into play. And again, he wants to paint her 100% as a liberal, without any, I would say without any nuance as to what her policies actually would be, whether or not they would help anybody. And of course, to prove how useless she is, he has a Saturday night skit, shows a little bit of that, and of course, it's just idle fun. People aren't going to make a decision, but it does decision on who they're going to vote for, but it does reinforce that Hillary is just in there for the power, etc. Now, the last part, in reference to what he has to say, basically indicates that, if you're white and you're religious, then it's open season on you. And Hillary does have an advantage to get going in this thing. Obviously, she has some very weak competition on the other side. Jeb might provide the strongest competition. The two moderates might only be Rubio and Jeb. But everyone else is going to be pushing to the right. So I would say Hillary should go to the left. And the only other thing Billy ends up with is that Hillary, yes, can have an advantage, but he's going to go after it with Benghazi, and he says that he'll be fair to her. But if she ever does anything with Media Matters, then those gutter snipes, according to him, he'll go after her for that. But just remember, all Media Matters does is take exactly what Billy says. and replays it, and then tells everyone what he was really, his real intent, and how bad it really is in terms of what his position is. So he hates him because people are actually analyzing him and not coming up with a good analysis of what it is he's saying. In fact, what Billy is saying just really, really stretches the truth. So let's see if he is fair to Hillary. I doubt it.